Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey Lauren, where did you get that awesome hat? And even more importantly, where can I get one? Well, unfortunately, you can't buy these in the stores because this sexy hat is actually part of my costume, which I will be wearing for the next 3 months in public. Yeah, bet you're all dead jealous now. So when I left off, I can't even remember I left off. I had my Disney training, got my name tag, which I put pictures up as. It's over there, so I can't find it at the moment. I know it looks like I'm wearing the same top, which I am, but it's only because I didn't realise there's going to be so many training days, so I only brought like 2 nice, professional tops. So I've been wearing them like one, the other, blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, and Mickey Mouse personally delivered our name tags, which is like, and they showed us loads of videos, which I never cried at all because I knew losers would cry at such a thing. So yeah, that was a few days ago. The other day we went to Hollywood Studios and I met Luke Skywalker. Oh yeah, and got his autograph, and I met C3PO as well. So that was boss. And because it was Star Wars weekend, and we went on Star Tours, which was awesome. It's like we only went on it once, but apparently there's like 25 different things to do in it. So it changes like every time, which, you know, amazing. Today was park orientation called Once Upon a Time Is Now. So yeah, basically it was an hour of walking around the park, learning history. Well, it was history about the Disney property, why the Magic Kingdom, why it was there, blah blah blah. And one thing I learned that I didn't know was that Magic Kingdom is actually the second level, and everything underneath it, like the tunnel system, was built on top of the ground, and then it just had like the lake outside of the Magic Kingdom that connects to all the other resorts was handmade, and all the soil from that lake was then put around where they built all the foundation for the UVAC system and everything. And then the castle and all the park was built on top, which is pretty awesome because I didn't know that. So the underground of Magic Kingdom isn't technically underground, it's just that the Magic Kingdom was on the second level, which is cool. Oh, by the way, you can just see there my flatmate, my roommate's Disney costume, and she's working in Epcot in the travel centre, so she's got loads of flags going on, which is fantastic. And I did laugh at hers, but now that I have mine, I realise how incredibly unfunny the costumes are. So stick around and I will give you a preview of the rest of the costume. You think the hat was good? So yeah, I'm going to be working in the West, which I'm actually really made up about because that's Frontierland, Adventureland and Liberty Square. So basically I'm going to be working around the Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, which means there's a very good chance that I'm going to see Jack Sparrow daily, and Jungle River thing, which is good because I've got a few friends on the Jungle River cruise thing, so that's cool. So yeah, anyway, it was like walking around the parks for an hour, then we went back, and then that was like a group of us learning the history and stuff, and then I got taken away. I got taken away by a man called James, who was custodial something, and he took me, and then he further gave me more of park orientation, which again was basically, we went on Haunted Mansion, we went on the Bears thing, we went on Pirates of the Caribbean, we went on It's a Small World, Peter Pan, the People Mover, and Buzz Lightyear. And the Buzz Lightyear one was actually quite good because we were like, the girl who was there was talking, she was like blah 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 blah, yeah, and then this and this. And Buzz Lightyear ride, by the way, is the #1 like busiest ride in the Magic Kingdom, or in like the Disney Resort. It's like the #1 thing on Toy Story Mania, so a bit of a theme going on there. I didn't realise that. So yeah, we just like blah blah blah, and this is and the people in the land tomorrow, blah, blah. And then Michael, who was one of the leaders from the morning, came running up and he was like, "Oh my god, guess what?" And we were on like, he was like really like panicking, and we were like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" He was like, I can't believe it. And then he goes, "Evil Emperor Zerg has captured the batteries once again." And we just like, oh. And then I think it was Kelly who saw. She was like, "Oh my god, are you serious? I thought we got him the last time." He was like, "No, he's back for more." So he was like, and then she was like, "Oh, well, what are we gonna do? And he was just, "Oh, well, we're gonna have to fight them. Come on, cadets!" And like that was literally the entry to being on the Buzz Lightyear ride, which is pretty cool. I like the effort. Another thing I learned was in Liberty Town, there's like a brown stone walkway, which I've never noticed before, but he told us that the brownstone walkway represented that in colonial times, there's no restrooms in Liberty Square, by the way, because they didn't have, like, they had outhouses back then, which leads me to that in colonial times, they used to just, like, throw the, like, toilet stuff out the window. So that is basically what the brownstone pathway is made from. So there we go, but we're not meant to tell, like, the little kids that, because it, but yeah, so that was that. I also learned about the Haunted Mansion, and it's how it got to be the Haunted Mansion, which I am about to, which leads me into my next section called Storytelling with me in Disney. So yeah, anyway, when Walt Disney went to buy the land, there was a part of the park that, another fun fact by the way, $148 was the price of the first lot of land, $80,000 was the price of the last set of land that they bought for the Florida project. So, and they bought it under the name MT Lot. Hey, you're onto it. Anyway, so yeah, so when he was buying, like, when he finally bought all the stuff for the park, he was, there was one piece of land that he didn't own, it was owned by someone else, so he was like, he went to, buy the rest, he went to the guy who owned it, it was like, "Look, I really need this land, I really need it to set me park, I'll do anything, I'll make any deal with you just so I can have the land." And the guy who owned it was like, "Alright then, but you can only have it if you leave the land the way it is, like, don't change anything about it, I want it left the way it is." So Walt Disney, being Walt Disney, he was kind of like, "Oh, alright then." So he bought the land because he did what he had to do to finish his park, and then he looked into, he was kind of like curious of why the guy wanted to keep the land the way it was, and he was like, "Oh, I've got this land now, what can I do with it?" So he figured there must be a reason for it. So he sent some of his Imagineers, to research the land and the property he just bought, and it turned out that it did have like a really colourful history. Apparently, in New England, like centuries ago, wherever, there was the Gracie family, and they were really wealthy, and they owned loads of land. They did shipping or something back in New England, and they only had one son called George, and apparently he was really sickly. And back then, because the doctors, they weren't really doctors, they were just they said, "Oh, take him out to where it's sunny and you'll be better again. The sun will do you the world of good, blah blah blah." So basically, they uprooted everything from New England and took him out to Florida, where obviously sunshine is all around. So yeah, anyway, the parents were finishing off like everything over in New England, like the last business things, and George and all the servants and everything had been like set up already in Florida, in the new mansion and everything. And basically, on like the week before the parents meant to move out with everything, like they took a boat over, blah blah blah, they got lost in like a thunderstorm. So like George was made an orphan, and because there's like, you know, servants and orphans. Sorry, so like basically he was like a really wealthy orphan, and like, you know, the servants, and the way that back then it was like servants, and then the servants had sons, and the sons would serve, you know, the servants would serve the family. That was how it happened, and that family would serve another family. So basically, like, George grew up with the servants, and then the head butler became sort of like a father figure to him, even though it's kind of like the fine line between everything. So yeah, so what was I up to? Yeah, so the butler, George became really orphan. His parents lost, he was an orphan, blah blah blah. So he got healthy and strong, and he got more and more money. He got better, like wealthier and stuff, and eventually George fell in love with this woman called Constance, and the butler didn't like her at all. He thought there was something a bit dodgy about her, and but he never told George, because obviously there's the fine line between servants or something, apparently. So anyway, George ended up getting married to Constance, and, you know, so on the wedding night, George goes up to the bridal chamber, and then, you know, the butler's doing his duty, blah blah blah, and then Constance follows him, and all of a sudden, like, there was this blood curdling scream, and the butler runs in, and like Constance was covered in blood, and then he found his master George decapitated. So that was that, and then obviously he has this new mistress, which he wasn't happy about, but he had to serve her anyway. So he did, and then she remarried again, and then the same thing happened, and then rumours were starting to go around. Apparently, this is what we got told. Rumours were going around, that like someone had a fruit, like didn't like her, so like they were killing her husbands, but the butler like wasn't. He was like, no, there's something going on. So when she got married a third time, yeah, 3 times, he hid in the chamber, and he you know, he waited till Constance came up, and like he saw her, like when she came up, he like was watching it, and he saw her take a knife, like an axe, out from like somewhere in the room, and like just go whoosh with her husband's head, and then he was like, "Ah, I caught you," and then like she got done by the police or something. I don't know, something happened to her. I think she got hung. But anyway, like, in the end, the butler was so overcome with grief about not being, you know, if he'd said something earlier, he would have been able to save his master and all the other men. He just couldn't live with himself, so he hung himself from the entrance of the mansion. And if you've ever been on the Haunted Mansion ride, then you will notice that it all kind of fits in with the, you know, with the whole thing. So I was actually, blew me away. Completely untrue, but that is what they told us that. They told us the story, and we were like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then we went on the ride, and we're like, oh my god, yeah, it all fits in. And then we got off, and the guy was like, so who believed my story? Then we were like, yeah, me. And then he was like, well, it's completely false. So that was my dream shattered, but we were really impressed with everything. So that's basically what I learned today. Also, I learned that if you've got a logo embroidered on a blue shirt, you can pretty much get to the front of any line, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm very excited. Got a class tomorrow, 8 o'clock, so not as early, but I've got a class tomorrow, and I mean, I'm actually going to be wearing my costume. Yeah, I know. So yeah, that's all good. Keep you updated with that as well. I miss everyone, obviously, at home, and I will see you real soon. Bye. As I promised. Ta-da! Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know if you're wondering, it really is as bad as it looks. That's right. Disney sizes are 2 sizes bigger than normal, but yeah, that's all you're getting, because I'm ashamed enough. Ooh, Disney.